we're seeing the decline of American culture being the empire that it is. And actually, it's a good thing because what the f- is up with America? Originally, I wasn't going to talk about it because I don't think that there was a need of talking about the political state. Of course, it stands, but it wasn't that big of a deal. But in the past 2 days, 2 people are dead, and Twitter or X is like all over the place. And I think it's really interesting to understand what the fuck is going on because it's a warning sign. It certainly is. First of all, everyone wanted to go to an American high school. They sold us a dream, especially to like young people who grew up on like Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, all those types of media that portrayed like a really amazing life in the suburbs and going to high school and kind of like doing weird ass dances and songs with your friends. Like High School Musical, like I saw it and I wanted to be, yeah, I wanted to be Sharpay Evans. I'm not gonna pretend I wasn't a fan of hers. Anyway, every single kid in my class, I'm European, wanted to be American or at least go to America, and we saw those like huge supermarkets with all those huge cookies and the 1,020 different flavors of Oreos, and we wanted to be there. We wanted to experience the cusp of capitalism. It was like a dream. Fast forward to today, I'm actually kind of thankful to have been born in Spain, which honestly, it's like a controversial take. And that's something that I've never said before, but yeah, I know that my country is facing a bunch of problems, but at the same time, at least people are not dying out of the blue. I wanted to go one of my high school years to America because I needed to experience it. I've gone to the east and the west part of the States, and I was like, wow, this looks so fake and huge, but at the same time so mesmerizing. What the fuck? Like, I was always intrigued by it, but of course, there's an opportunity cost of having those types of like policies and types of cultures. You see, America has always been a symbol of liberty and a symbol of having different people there, because of course it was founded by people from other countries going to another country, like a foreign land, and getting independence by forming their own country, which is the United States of America, which, hey, kudos to them. But at the same time, this has, slowly been building up into the mountain that we have nowadays. I'm really interested in what's the mindset, like the cultural mindset of the people in the States, of the American people. Of course, if you're American, please feel free to share, like, how do you feel about the political state of your country? Because I would be really interested. Because, of course, I'm saying this from a point of view of a Spaniard. I have stepped foot in American land 2 times in my life, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know what's the day-to-day life of an American person. I consume a lot of media that comes from America, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. And what I want to talk about and what I want to dive is at why Charlie Clerk was unalived, because it's wild. I'm gonna straight up say it. I don't agree with that, like almost anything that this man said, but at the same time, that doesn't mean that I am okay with him being unalived, because it's kind of boring now. Like, I don't have anyone to just counter argue with. Yeah, of course, me alone in my room counter arguing with that man, but like, hey, what a shame. Also, I feel bad for the family himself and the people in America, because what the hell? That's wild, that's mad. If that happened to my country, I would be a bit, kind of like paranoid, because it's this sort of act that doesn't make you feel safe in your country, and the first thing you want to be in your country is kind of safe, at least at home. It's like, of course, I'm not going to get into a ghetto, but in a university, what the hell? I just don't want to go to school and get shot. If they have a problem with gun regulation, do I believe that the issue in and of itself is that people can own guns? I don't necessarily think so, because, for instance, in Switzerland, it's also legal, and people don't go around killing themselves. Why is it? Well, I think it's culture. I think it's the mindset of the people, the psychology behind a culture and a society. And I think Americans live a lot on the defensive. They try to, prevent instead of curing stuff, which is good. But the action taken is not to protect themselves. Well, yeah, it is to protect themselves, but not in a like, let's just put a wall, but well, also, but like not get inside of the home, but like shooting. It's their way of protecting. It's the way they've been like told that they can protect themselves. And I'm a bit ignorant. I don't really like understand what's going on there, but to my understanding, it's their way of protecting themselves and their private property, which is protected by the different amendments, and especially the Second Amendment of the Constitution. Well, the American Constitution. I think the amendments in America work a bit of like moral or values that they like kind of follow. It's kind of like a list of rules they gotta follow, which is good. I mean, that's kind of the whole reason why a constitution exists. But at the same time, it's like there's a bit of like laws of humanity or something like's not working. Clearly something's not working, because the two parties are radicalizing people because you are either good or you're either bad, either black or white. Well, in this case, red or blue. And I don't think like shit works like this. Like, more often than not, I firmly believe like the Democratic Party has like 20,000 million different people that think differently, and the Republican Party, in the Republican Party, people think very much differently. And I just don't think it's a clear representation of a democracy if there's just like two voices being spread, because it's helping a lot to put people into different groups. And nowadays, of course, there's different groups. There's two different groups in America. And I also don't believe that the person who unalived Charlie Kirk was someone, your typical person on the left. I think he or she was a radicalized person that needed psychological and probably psychiatric help. Does that excuse the person? No, it's just to understand better the kind of person that could do something like this, because it's of course extremely fucked up. We think about like the random people living in the US, because it makes sense that they would radicalize even more, because there's a bunch of tension, and then people just unalive themselves because there's a lot of tension, and then there's the unaliving of other people that are blamed on the left, because it's like people on the left unaliving people on the right. So the people on the left feel attacked, and the people on the right also feel attacked, so they like counterattack to the people on the left, and it's like a war. They have like a civil war without weapons. I hope it remains a non-weapon kind of war. Well, people have been unalived, but I just hope it doesn't turn into a civil war. I'm not saying this will be a civil war, but they tried. Like, they shot Donald Trump, and they shot the other men, and they like killed a random ass woman in the public transport. What the fuck is up with Americans? A lot of children being unalived at school, and a lot of students and random people. Why do they keep unaliving people with weapons? This is certainly, like, to me, it is, from my European perspective, it is wild. It feels like someone who's not aware of the repercussions a weapon has. And of course, when you live in a non-safe place, or you feel as if you are not safe in the place you were living, of course you have more chances to be radicalized, to put trust into a political party, to think blindly, and to make decisions which are not the most reasonable ones and the most sensible ones, you just kind of like act out of desperation because you want a quick fix. Probably maybe that's why Donald Trump was elected. I don't know. People have their own reasons to vote for that man. My question still remains, why do Americans keep shooting people? I will tell you something. As I've said with the previous example of Switzerland also not having a lot of gun regulation policies, the issue relies on the culture. That doesn't mean that I'm against gun regulation. That only means that the issue are not the guns themselves, but the mindset of the people that own them, and how easy it is to people who are not probably like in their right minds to own guns. Then we could say that there's people who own guns but are like shouldn't, because they are not going to use them for the greater good or to just, I don't know, kill a rabbit, which is also fucked up. Like, honestly, if you feel the need to kill as a hobby or to like hunt, I'm really curious to know why, because I've never experienced such thing, or I cannot understand why would someone unalive something or like an animal for their own sake. It's like, you don't need it to live. Why would you do that? Maybe it's just my culture, I don't know. Basically, we can say that there's something deeper that guns themselves. And I would blame it on how the country was made. The amendments of the Constitution are made to make people free. They live in a society where people feel entitled or better than other people so that they can them, because I just think that they live in such an individualistic society that they don't think twice before acting, not only because they are fucked in the head, but because there's no bond in between the people. And I'm not saying that this is the sole reason why people commit such crimes. I'm just saying that the American culture has a problem with people feeling entitled. And I think the reason why is because of the amendments of freedom and individual freedom, that at the end of the day, it's kind of like shooting their own feet. You know what I mean? Like, because if people are free, people are free and they can protect themselves and they can own guns, and they also have this mindset of like, I can do whatever I want because I'm fighting for my freedom, then boom, it's easier than ever to have people unaliving other people because of political because they have radical political views, which is of course unfair for the person who is unalived, because no one deserves that, of course. And yeah, I just wanted today to make a quick video trying to understand and trying to reason why American life is not a dream, and the American dream has never been a dream, but rather a nightmare. So, feel sorry for you guys. This must be really tense. My condolences to everyone, especially the family, of course. And this is not an excuse to, poke fun at people on the left, and this is not an excuse to make fun at people on the right. This is just an excuse to sit down, think, and question what the fuck's up with the world right now. We should be doing a bit more, because the state of the world is wild. If you want to know more how people are radicalized, and especially the youth is the target to be radicalized into political thinking and decision making in general, click on this video right here, and feel free to subscribe if you want more of my videos. I tend to be a bit more, less depressed, but today's video kind of like needed to be a bit depressing because it's hella depressing. So yeah, Hope you have a really nice week. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.